I'm an actor, writer, director from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was actually born and raised in Haverford Township. I graduated from Haverford High School in, should I actually say this? Yeah, in 1995. I later went on to pursue my further education at Shippensburg University, where I graduated with a degree in elementary education. And I have been an elementary school and middle school teacher for about 17 years now. And I always felt like that was a wonderful combination between careers, acting and teaching, because they're both very similar. A teacher has to entertain these kids for 6, 7 hours a day, maintain a captive audience in most cases, as well as keep them actively engaged. So it requires you to go outside your comfort zone, come up with some voices, some characters, maybe throw some improv on the spot. Get the kids laughing a little bit to reel them back in. But I always felt that those were two wonderful careers to connect to really pursue both my dreams, being an actor and a teacher. And so today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about myself as well as my next upcoming film, Whatever Happened to Mike. So what got me into acting? Well, I mean, that goes back to being a little kid. I can remember playing with my G.I. Joes for hours on end, recreating episodes that I watched in the cartoons, or just building these new ideas and stories out of my own head. Gosh, I can remember sitting in the backyard for hours with my friends playing Dukes of Hazzard or the A-Team, always taking on different characters throughout the day. I mean, just hours on end. So my imagination was always going. Just loved reading comic books back then, and just coming up with all these different ideas and scenarios to do things. Especially growing up in a household or a family rather, that really had some artists. My older sister loved to sing. She loved to paint and draw. She was fabulous at it. My mom was a great artist. Her grandfather was an artist, a painter. My little sister, man, I like to think of myself as a good actor, but man, if she ever put herself on stage or in a script, my little sister, man, the girl's got some acting chops. So, creativity was never shunned by my mother in our household. And, I was very lucky to have a family that really appreciated that and embraced those ideas. So, I think that's kind of always been in me. I kind of thought, the two things I would ever grow up to be would be an actor and a teacher. And, I'm doing both. So it's fantastic. Who inspired me, huh? Wow. You have an hour? I mean, there's a lot of people I could go through. Well, obviously growing up in the era that I grew up in, we had the megastars in the action genre like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I had pictures of Rocky and Rambo all over my walls. Terminator was one of my all-time favorite movies, and just to see how cool those guys could be while being tough and strong and all that stuff, I mean, that had a huge impact on me, as well as why I still work out and train to this day. I mean, those guys ingrained something in me when I was young, and I just kept with it. Let's see, who else? John Malkovich. I mean, wow, the way that guy can just become these people is mind-blowing to me without actually losing his sanity. And maybe he has, because sometimes I guess that happens if you live in a character for so long, but man, he's on the top of my list. Let's see, Bruce Willis. My first taste of Bruce was Moonlighting, and I just thought, wow, that is a cool guy, man. That's who I want to be in real life, not just as an actor. Wow, Denzel, Meryl Streep, man, to talk about like John Malkovich, someone who just blends into the character and you can't see a difference. I mean, it's just breathtaking to watch her act. Wow, Winona Ryder. When I was growing up, she was a big star, and I love the way that she could jump into those darker characters. I mean, that was really amazing, especially in Beetlejuice. Man, her character in Beetlejuice just really blew me away. I felt like, everything she did was real. She felt it in that. Another chameleon would be like Angelina Jolie. Man, she can go from being some tough, martial artist in like Tomb Raider to being an eloquent lady at a ball. These people keep you moving and keep you motivated and just, really, really make you want to push to aspire to be as great as they can be on camera. And, there's just so many to mention. Robin Williams, I used to love watching Mork and Mindy, Nanu Nanu, and, I used to lay upside down on my couch like he used to. So, these are people that have not only influenced me to want to be an actor, writer, producer, but there's little niches in my life that in my real life that some of the characters that they've played have actually you know had an impact on me. So yeah. My experience. Well, my experience, as I said before, has a broad range. Aside from teaching, where I like to think I tried to hone some of my acting skills there, I guess my students will be the judge whether or not it was any good. But let's see, I've done an 8 episode series for the Bounce Network called Brotherhood of Silver. I was a lead in that as a detective. The Drive, which is a 8 episode series that I wrote and produced. It was a crime drama, which later got changed. I later adapted to be a feature film. Joanna the Chronicles was the first short film I ever produced and had a fantastic talent in that with Joanna Dear Goddess. That movie was used to actually start up and launch a new app called MovieQ. This past year in 2017, 2018, I was very lucky and very blessed to have the opportunity to study at the New York Film Academy. And there's a quote by George Bernard Shaw that really keeps me motivated, really makes me push forward, and I kind of remind myself of it every day. And he said, "The people that get on in this world look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they create them." And that's what inspired me to take the next step to be a writer and producer, because I said to myself, you know what? If I can't book the roles that I want by auditioning, then I'm going to create them for myself. Yeah, the last question. What we're here to actually talk about, huh? So my next film, it's a short film called Whatever Happened to Mike. This is a film that explores, it's like a social commentary on what it's like to be an actor. So Mike is a middle-aged actor who he's had some success, but he never quite found that major role that he was looking for, that breakout role that would just launch him into stardom. And he's struggling with that, meanwhile trying to keep his family together. He is the stereotypical starving artist. He has a son. He's struggling to make his bills, and he's really disappointed about where his career is at this point. So it's a look at friendships, relationships, family, while trying to chase a dream. And really what the struggle is for actors is they try to, book that role or land that TV series that would just make all the difference in their world. I started to look at the social landscape of artists in general, and the more we see these things come up, like Robin Williams, Heath Ledger, recently, the problems Heather Locklear's been having. These are people I grew up idolizing and wanting to emulate. And, watching the pain and suffering that they go through, I mean, we all kind of know that. So this film kind of is an autobiography in some sense. I mean, there are some very real issues that come up that I deal with every day, that I've been dealing with over the last couple years trying to make this happen. But also, there is some embellishment there to really tell a good story. I wrote this script about 2 years ago, and it's had a couple iterations. But maybe about a year ago, I watched a film called Multifacial, Vin Diesel made back in the 1990s. And it was a similar concept, this young character going out into the world, trying to audition, land these roles, what it's like and what it feels like and what it looks like when you go on all these auditions, the rejection you face, and just that type of stuff. And I actually happened to be listening to a bit by the comedian Bill Burr when he talks about, sometimes how you just have that urge, you'd rather just end it all than actually have to, bake that pie for Thanksgiving. You'd rather just jump out the window instead, just ending it all, And I think we've all had that feeling, but for people who suffer from depression, that's it's way more profound, obviously. And so this is an introspective look at what it would be like to have to deal with that and what actors go through. And I feel like there's legitimacy given to that because it is what I deal with as well. It's something I live with every day, trying to do this and wondering how to pay the bills, trying to manage family and friends and things like that. So I've called on some great actors that I feel like can really bring this piece to the next level. Charles Chase Little, who I've done quite a few projects with, a phenomenal actor, unknown talent out of Philadelphia. I feel like people will know him very soon. Kaiser Carlson, who I actually had the pleasure to work with and study with up in New York. She's from Sweden. And Jason Perini, who's going to be the director of photography, who's the owner of Pixcara Studios. The guy does phenomenal work, and I feel like the work he'll do on this film will definitely speak volumes for what he's capable of. So, it's going to be a definitely a labor of love, and we're all very excited to produce this film and show it to the world. So.